Drake was obviously distracted on this Scorpion album. I was excited to get a new Drake album. More Life was like, but he called it a playlist, and I was like, okay, I'll let that one slide. It was like all filler tracks, really. There was no bangers on that album to me, like bangers, you know? So the last time we got bangers was Views, and that was like, okay, you know? So I was excited for the Scorpion album. I was like, okay, we're going to have some good music for the summer. I'm coming out of this with like 2 or 3 tracks that I can really play. I'm already kind of sick of the album. Nonstop is probably an emotion. What is it? Emotionless is one of my favorite tracks. The Jay-Z one's pretty good, but it's like, you know, after that it's like, you know, it sounds very. Yeah, how do you spend this much time on this album? He says he's been working on this album for 2 years. It's like, really, bro? Like, come on, you know. So, but you know, Drake has been one of my favorite artists for almost a decade, right? So it's like, hey, you can't stay on top forever, okay? Is he going to be good, and is everyone going to keep buying his albums for the next 10 years? Obviously, okay? He's been the top artist for 10 years. You don't just fall off on a sharp downward spiral, but, you know, he's going to slowly decline at this point, okay? Pusha T kind of solidified that by, you know, defeating him, okay? Once you defeat somebody, it kind of goes downhill. You know, he seemed unstoppable with the Meek Mill battle. Then, you know, he kept kind of like testing how much, you know, he can push the fans, and I think they're reaching their breaking point. I'm seeing a lot of people not liking this album, especially like the hypocrite statements. Like on I'm Unupset, he says he'll never go 50-50 with no hoe. But then on March 14th, he's talking about having a baby with ex-Pornstar. Okay, is that a whore? Is that a hoe or not? I don't know. You know, it's like, hey, you know, man, he was not going in there protected, man. So I just don't like this album, man. I mean, you might like it, and you know, you have to be a real Drake stan to love this album and defend everything on it. You know, I'm a Drake fan, but I can't just sit here and be like, whoa, it's great, you know, and come up with excuses for everything. You know, this is a bad album. And I think that later, in a year from now, he's going to talk about how distracted he was making it. Remember, about a year ago, we were getting all the reports, you know, he was on tour and getting all the reports that he, you know, you don't believe these things when they're out there because there's so much fake news out there. But, you know, we're like, oh, Drake has having a baby with this ex-Pornstar girl. Meanwhile, this girl has been linked with A$AP Rocky, James Harden. Was it James Harden or was it another basketball player? Oh, no, it was the one that's with, it was not Tristan, was Shumpert. Yeah, linked with her. You know, it's like she was with a lot of people, okay? So, yeah, Drake went 50-50 with a hoe. So, I don't know, man. I don't know how you guys feel about this album, but hey, every crew takes their fall. Now, 50 Cent, unstoppable, but GUnit, once Game kept going at him, and, you know, Game went against the team, and then Young Buck went against the team, GUnit was never the same. Dipset, when Cameron went at 50, and then Jim Jones and Juelz kind of showed their disloyalty to Cam, that was the end of Dipset. You know, that's just 2 examples. You know, this happens to a lot of people. Lil Wayne, unstoppable until they had that problem. Well, first he went to jail, and then they had that problem with Baby, and Cash Money's never going to be the same again. You know, it's like everybody has their downfall. Is Drake going to come back? I think he will, honestly. You know, like, he's a good artist. I think that after he gets a hold of everything that's happening with his life, you know, this is devastating, you know, to have a surprise child with a girl you didn't plan to have a child with. Would throw anybody off their game. So, you know, I'm not trying to make excuses for him. I'm just saying, I'm not feeling this album, bro. But it is what it is. I think he'll come back with more great material in the future. Anyways, guys, appreciate you guys. It's Jordan Tower with JT News. Hit that bell, hit the subscribe button. And if you want an ads on the channel, it's jordantowermedia@gmail.com.